Bonjour! I moved from France to England for work 9 years ago, and I like it here. People are great, but I don't always understand their accent.
Do you want a wee bag with that?
It's comedy.
It's hard to beat the Northern.
No, they're not.
They are. I bet you any money they are.
Quite important things.
Lost and confused.
Before my move, I was only aware of the posh London accent, but I then discovered that there are around 56 different accents in the UK. The Geordie accent, the Scouse accent, the Scottish accent, and many others. At my job interview 9 years ago, one of the interviewers was from Yorkshire, and I struggled to understand him. And if you wonder, yes, I did get the job, and much later I started making videos here in Taunton, Somerset. And today I will be interviewing people to find out what accent they have and what they think of British accents. It is going to be an interesting and fun video. Question number 1. Which British accent is best and why?
I would say the Cockney accent in London.
I like a Cockney accent. I think it's just nice. It gives a person a bit of personality, I think.
Best rhyming slang. Best slang in the country.
Well, I'm going to say Somerset because I'm from Somerset, so the southwest is the best.
I think round Somerset is quite a cool accent.
I love most of the Scottish accents. Some of the softer ones I really love, yeah.
I think it's actually got a really lovely tone to it. I think the pronunciation is really good. I like to hear it.
The kind of posh accent is kind of cool because you don't really hear it as much anymore.
I think the best British accent is probably the Scouse accent from Liverpool because it's a blend of several accents from all over the world, including Irish, even Norwegian, which have all come into Liverpool to create this unique accent. And it's just a lot of fun with a lot of rhymes and a lot of unique slang.
I don't think you can say that one British accent is better than another because they're all from different places and they reflect the lives and the history of the people who live in those places.
Question number 2. Can you tell where someone is from based on their accent?
Yes, very easily you can, yes.
Pretty much, yes. Not all accents, but there's a lot I do recognise.
Most of the time, yes. There are a few accents, normally from areas in the home counties or East Anglia, which are very neutral in their accent and it's harder to tell. But most of the time, Southwest, Midlands, North, absolutely.
You can tell where people are from with certain accents.
Oh yeah, the type of slang they choose.
Maybe not very precisely. I remember when I was younger, you could tell what village people came from in Somerset, depending on their accent. But that's more difficult to tell now because I think people have moved more.
We've got a very interesting one here. You can pretty quickly assume that someone's from the north of the country or the south of the country.
I think it depends how strong the accent is. Like if they have a really, really strong one, it's quite obvious, but sometimes it can be quite difficult to tell if they've moved around a lot.
If you're good at it and understanding like different places, you'll be able to recognise where people are from depending on their accent. So I do think you'll know.
Yes, I would say so. I think it's because I have a South African heritage and coming over here and living here for 20 years that I've sort of been fascinated by the accents. So I feel like I've got good distinction of where they're from, even like subtleties in areas, but not 100%.
Absolutely, yes, you can. Not every accent is possible, but with most you can. So, for example, a southeastern accent or a Birmingham accent. Some you have to kind of understand where people are coming from, but more often than not, yes, you can tell.
Can you tell where I am from?
No, I can't, although you have told me that you're French, I believe. So, yes, you have a very good accent.
Question number 3. What kind of accent do you have and what do you think of it?
I've got a southern accent. It's very easy to understand.
I think I've got quite a posh accent. It's all right. Quite taking the mick out of all the time as well.
I don't really know what mine is. I'm from Somerset and I get made fun of, especially by her, by saying tomatoes. It's not fair.
I have received pronunciation, which is a taught British accent rather than an accent which I pick up naturally from imitating other people. What do I think of it? Well, it's okay, but it doesn't give me a full identity, but it's very nice for going overseas because people instantly recognise me as being sophisticated. Not sure why, but that's what happens.
I have quite a neutral accent. You might call it BBC English. There's probably a bit of Somerset in there, and there's probably also a bit of London in there because I lived in London for quite a few years.
I have a West Country Somerset accent. I don't think it's very broad. I quite like it. In my younger days, people used to tell me that I had a broad sort of farmer kind of accent, but I think that's mellowed over the years. So yeah, I like my accent.
A sort of very mild West Country accent.
I couldn't define what accent I've got, an odd one. Just a sort of really standard British, South African accent, a bit of a mismatch of living in both places for years.
Well, mine's a mixed bag. I've got a sprinkle of Manchester, I've got a sprinkle of Bristol, and then a little bit of Essex in there as well. So yeah, mine's a hard one to predict. It's a bit like Marmite. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Question number 4. What are the stereotypes of the accents? Do you judge people based on their accent?
Many of the stereotypes perhaps depend on which country you visit, but in North America, for example, especially the USA, again, they think you must be a gentleman if you have a British accent, and you must be educated and sophisticated. Other nations, perhaps former colonies of the UK, might have a slightly more negative interpretation of the accent based on history.
One of the stereotypes I know, like being a West Country boy, is that, yes, we're bit carrot crunchers in this part of the world, country bumpkins, that kind of thing. So I think there is a stereotypical element to that. With a southeastern accent, the Cockney accent, people will make stereotypes. Certainly with my West Country accent, people see me as a bit of a country bumpkin.
The Somerset accent is very ooh-ah, and it's all about the farmers and the cider and that kind of thing. We are farmers as well, but we don't ooh-ah much.
Well, there are definitely stereotypes. People with a West Country accent are usually considered to be not very intelligent. You know, peasants, perhaps people with an accent from the southeast are more sophisticated. But it's a generalisation, and I don't think you can judge based on accents.
I think everyone's got quite a built-in bias. I don't think people recognise it as much though. Like I think when you hear someone, you just assume they might be certain thing or certain, like just anything. Unconsciously, probably I am a bit biased.
You could tell how they grew up most of the time by their accent because you just know what types of places there are.
Yes, you do. If some people are from Newcastle, you kind of think of like the area and what type of personalities they'll have because of it.
Yeah, I think I'm quite judgmental over it.
I think the stereotypes that we're all very posh. We're not all very posh. I think a lot of people get judged on their accent, unfortunately. Someone's social class and social standing a lot of the time is based off where they're from and how they speak, which is a shame, but that's how it goes.
Do you judge people based on their accent?
Maybe sometimes yes, without meaning to. Perhaps I hear some accents, particularly thick regional accents from up north or the Midlands, and unfortunately I generally assume that they probably didn't get an education at university, for example.
I would say no. I find like a broader accent more interesting sometimes because it sort of shows more personality. So probably positive judgment in the broader accents where they're more recognisable for regions. I lived in Liverpool for a long time. I absolutely love that accent. It took a while to get to understand it. I've lived all over. I've lived up in the Lake District and London, Bristol. Broad experience of various places and different accents, yeah.
Question number 5. Which British accent is hardest to understand?
Up north, strictly because we're from like southwest, so we don't really hear much of their accent. But for me at least, I definitely find it very hard to understand, especially if they're quite quick talking.
An accent probably from the northeast.
Possibly Newcastle.
Maybe a Geordie or a Macron from Sunderland. I find that accent very difficult to understand.
Probably Liverpool for me.
Scouse accent.
Ooh, easy, Scouse.
It's quite heavy. I struggle understanding it most of the time.
If we're talking the British Isles as a whole, Scottish is in there as well, because I think those are the ones that foreigners struggle to pick up the most.
Also some accents in the southern Scottish area, which are almost a mixture of Scottish and Northern English. Ooh, very difficult.
100%.
I think everybody would say Scottish, probably Glaswegian. That's very hard.
Not all Glaswegian accents, because actually my sister-in-law is from that area and her beautiful brogue accent, like really lovely.
I think a very broad Scottish accent can be quite difficult. As much as I like the Scottish accent, I think if it's very broad, deep, that is quite hard to understand.
A really thick Glaswegian accent is really hard to understand.
And last question, if you could have any accent, which one would you choose?
That's a tough one. British specifically, yeah? I like the softer accent, so it probably would be a Scottish accent. Yeah, I like the sort of gentle, flowy ones.
I would like a Scottish accent. I think it's lovely, so I would go for Scotland all the time.
Again, I'd probably go Scouse. Yeah, go for a Liverpool accent, just because it's fun to speak like that. But it's also very offensive, I think, if you try to imitate the accent. So I would love to have that accent naturally.
I love the Liverpool accent, and I like the Yorkshire accent because it's very friendly.
Stevenage.
I'm quite happy with my accent, to be honest.
Ooh, I'd choose the Irish accent. I mean, you could argue that parts of Ireland aren't technically the British Isles, but if I could have any British accent, it'd be Irish. 100%, without a doubt.
I want an Irish accent. I think they're the coolest.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Welsh accents too, I love. Not everybody loves a Welsh accent, but they can be very sing-songy and very pretty.
Oh, I don't think I care whether I have an accent or not. I think you have to be happy with the way you speak, and everybody speaks differently depending on who they're talking to.
This is interesting, isn't it? So many different accents and dialects, so many different words for the same thing. If you are in the UK, do you always understand what other people say? And if you are from another country, were you aware of those differences? And do you have such in your own country? Now, if you would like to see some of my other interesting videos, you will find them above. Merci beaucoup, au revoir, bisous!